1 year since the shooting death of a local man, 43-year-old Brandon Durham. Durham called 911 to report an intruder at his home last November. When Metro Police Officer Alexander Bookman arrived, he saw two people struggling over a knife. He shot Durham multiple times, who was in his underwear, instead of that alleged intruder who was wearing a hoodie. A grand jury later determined that there was not enough evidence to charge Bookman with the crime. The attorney for Durham's family called it a miscarriage of justice. The woman accused of breaking into Durham's home, Alexandra Bourgeau, is set to face trial next year. Meanwhile, a federal lawsuit filed on behalf of Durham's family has yet to be decided. And joining us now to discuss that and the anniversary of Brandon Durham's death, Attorney Lee Merritt. And Attorney Lee Merritt, we thank you so much for joining us on this day that I know is a pretty tough one for his family. In fact, you've made contact with them to talk about what they're going through today.
Good evening, and thank you for having me. It is a very difficult day for the Durham family and for a lot of people in Vegas who feel like Brandon Durham's death a year ago today made the entire community a bit less safe.
Yeah, not only this community, there were a series of protests, but also the nation was watching this case. And in the end, grand jury decided not to indict the officer. I know that we said that the attorneys, you all believe that that's a miscarriage of justice. Tell us more about what you're trying to do to make sure that something like this never happens again.
You know, I think it's important to note that the district attorney for Clark County, where this case lies, is Stephen Wolfson, and he had a responsibility to do justice in this case. We had a citizen who called the Las Vegas Metro PD for help, and as a result, he was shot to death in his home, feet away from his daughter, who was hiding in the other room. That is something that, as citizens anywhere in the country, we can't stand. And as the firm that this family has sought for help and for accountability, we're pursuing claims under Section 1983 of the Civil Rights Act in federal court. Those claims run parallel to the criminal statute for murder. It runs parallel to the federal accountability statute for violations of the Fourth Amendment. That's excessive force or unlawful seizure of a person. And we believe that as we pursue depositions and discovery, as we have a trial set for next summer, we can prove through the discovery process that this was a unjustifiable use of force that should result in accountability, not only for Officer Bookman, but for Metro PD and for policies that allow this kind of thing to happen over and over again.
Yeah, one thing that you all have pointed to is the fact that one of the people, Mr. Durham, was in his underwear. The other was in a hoodie, the alleged intruder. You also point to the fact that the officer in question, Alexander Bookman, actually arrived at that home and dealt with these two individuals in another call right before this happened. I believe it was the night before this happened. What are you all hoping to gain from this federal lawsuit that has been filed on behalf of the family going forward?
The federal lawsuit is important because not only does it name Officer Bookman, but it names Las Vegas Metro PD. It names the city of Las Vegas in their policies specifically. We do believe that Officer Bookman performed a criminal act when he used deadly force against Brandon Durham last year, but we believe that that is couched within a culture of policing in Las Vegas that uses deadly force far too often and without verifying the facts. This is, again, a citizen who called for help. So in addition to getting compensation for the family, for making Brandon Durham's family whole, we hope to go target some of the policies in Las Vegas Metro that train officers to use deadly force against citizens in ways that are unjustifiable and does not train them properly to de-escalate, to take evaluation of the scene, and to make decisions that make us all safer.
You mentioned that you believe that this case and the things that you all have discovered does lie in with federal crimes that have been broken here as well. Are you all going to seek federal criminal charges against this officer?
Because our federal Section 1983 civil suit runs parallel with the constitutional statutes that allow for criminal prosecution, what we will do is be in contact with the U.S. Attorney's Office for Las Vegas. We remain in contact with the Attorney General's office so that he can see that a crime took place within his jurisdiction, that the Constitution does not allow for the actors to go unpunished, and that either the Department of Justice at the federal level under the Trump administration or in the future will pursue these criminal acts based on the discoveries that we make in our civil claims.
All right, Lee Merritt with us today. Thank you so much, the attorney who is trying to help this family with this federal lawsuit that has been filed. Thank you so much for joining us today, and our thoughts with them, as I know that this is likely a very tough day for them since he is no longer with us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.